You can get to that now. Let's start first with the 100. Gordon, Trayvon Bromell does what we thought he was going to do, drops a 980. Ronnie Baker, solid in second with 985. And then Fred Kerley, the man who a couple weeks ago switched from the 400 to the 100 and the 200, navigated a deep field of U.S. men to get that third spot ahead of Kenny Bednarik and Micaiah Williams. Noah Lyles and Justin Gatlin in 7th and 8th. Some surprises there. Gordon, what were your thoughts watching this race?
I just think it's incredible what Fred Kerley did. You never see this. You never see a 400-meter runner at the top of their game, in the prime of their game, switch events at the last moment, and not only run well, but make a team. And it's probably one of the hardest teams to make in the world, right? The men's U.S. 100-meter team, second place ran 9.8. I mean, that's fourth place ran 9.8 and still didn't make it. So it's just an incredible performance by Fred Kerley. He knew what he was doing. And, man, I can't wait to see him in Tokyo.
Yeah. Serenity, you've run some 400s in your day. What do you think? I mean, how difficult is that? We know he was thinking about the 100, obviously, because he ran that 991 earlier in the year. But we all thought, okay, he's sharpening up. He's getting ready for the move to the 400. How difficult is that? How did you think about Fred's decision process going from the 400 down to the 2 and the 1?
I was mainly just so excited to see it. I have been following Fred on Instagram since the Texas A&M days. So seeing him always like phase 42, that's what we were expecting to see out of him. But now all of a sudden it's like phase 980 coming now. So I can't say that I was shocked. He's a great athlete. You could see the way he was looking through the rounds. He was looking like he was confident, and it was not sticking out like a sore thumb at all. He did not look like, oh, he's the 1-400 runner. It's kind of like a male Allison Felix in a way. Honestly, how she goes up to the 4 and can come down to the 100 too.
Mm-hmm. But what about the whole idea here, Serenity, of just having the self-belief to do it? Because it's the one thing to have the physical tools. It's another thing to run your first serious 100 when the most is at stake, which is what he did. It's so rare to see that.
Look, it's extremely, extremely rare. It's very tough. It's 300 meters less than what he's used to doing. The amount of skill that you need to have to do that is ridiculous. Honestly, like I keep saying, I just can't say that I'm surprised though. Now I feel like it kind of opens the door for many athletes who want to just try something out new. And that's exactly what Fred just decided to do. And he really put himself to the test.
Yeah, and it also means I don't want to get too far ahead to the 200 because that's going to be down the line here. But he hasn't broken 20 seconds in the 200, which is the most puzzling thing ever because he's run 43 and then he's run all these fast hundreds. So you got to feel good about him, heading forward to the 200. Gordon, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say we kind of saw a potential foreshadowing of this when we saw what Michael Norman did in the 100 during the COVID track meet when he ran his 9.8 in an open 100. And you see a Michael Norman type product, and it kind of made a little more sense because he was a 200-meter runner in college. But this whole idea of the new range of 100 all the way up to 400 hasn't really been done much on the men's side. We've seen it, like Serenity said, with Allison Felix. She's a 100 all the way up to 400, now mainly just 400, 200. But we haven't seen that type of range on the men's side. It's always been a 1-2 or 2-4. You never see a 1-4. And it's exciting for, I think, the sport because you could argue that, like, there's a chance. No, we could have, we're not there yet, but, like, 2 members of the 4x1, the 4, if Michael Norman was still running his hundreds, you could have just cross-pollination of the quarter milers and the short sprinters just kind of all on the same team, which is kind of wild.
Yeah, that is wild.
Also, if again, I just said don't look too far ahead of the 200, but now I'm starting to think about the 200. And you got Noah Lyles, who heading into the year was the lock of all locks. I famously bet my house on Noah Lyles winning gold in the 200. He's coming back for redemption because he has not looked like himself, and even a good Noah Lyles may not have qualified for this team, but he finished way back there in 7th. You have Kenny Bednarik, who just misses in this race. You have Terrence Laird, who decided to scratch this race and go all in on the 200. Then you have, obviously, Fred Kerley and the possibility of how fast he can get in a 200 that we haven't really seen him put to the test in. I don't think Norman's going to run it now that he's qualified in the 400, but there's going to be some good people left off that 200-meter team for sure, and we're kind of used to the 200 being the thing that gets added on at the end of the meet, and it's kind of, oh man, that person really surprised and got third. No, there's going to be some good people left off this 200-meter team.
No, yeah, the 200 I really feel like is going to be very similar to the 100 based on times. A ridiculous time is not going to get in. These men are not here to play. It kind of feels like it's just redemption. Like you said, the women have been moving well all year. In my opinion, the men have just kind of been real wide open. We had Mike. I just saw the tweet. We had Micah, who came up and he got what place did he get? Fifth with a 991. So that's ridiculous to me. And like you said, we have Terrence Laird. Honestly, the 200, that's what I'm most excited to see. Like, I know I run the 400, but the 200 is about to be ridiculous.
Mm-hmm. We should probably give some more credit to Bromell. Go ahead.
Kevin, do you think we could see some drama on the who is selected to the 4x1? Typically, they take the top 6, but there's a guy named Justin Gatlin who pulled up, didn't have his full form in that final, has the experience. Can you see them leapfrogging a Craven Gillespie for a Justin Gatlin, assuming like Noah Lyles can get there because of the 200 qualification?
No, I think you got to stick with the plan here. I don't know why you would do that. You have enough talent to win there. You had 4 guys go sub 990. There's nobody in the world. No other country's done that. No other country's got even close to that in terms of the depth. So I don't know why you'd want to invite that sort of controversy, although it would not be the first time that we've seen some interesting selections. But I think they'll stick with the top 6. So Gillespie will get on his second relay team. He made it in 2019. Williams, as Serenity mentioned, he's a freshman. He's a freshman out here running, won that 60 indoor title and then has carried it all the way through. But I mean, Bromell won this thing. We should spend a little bit of time on Bromell and just his arc. He makes the 2016 team. Famously, at the end of the 4x1, has to be taken from the track in a wheelchair. He had a Achilles issue, required 2 surgeries. Then he had an adductor muscle go out on him. He was just off the radar entirely until 2020. Then he started dropping some breadcrumbs, and then the breadcrumbs turned into whole loaves. And then by the end of the beginning of 2021, we knew, okay, 977, he's legit. But just, I don't know, Serenity, you've probably talked to Trayvon throughout the years. I'm guessing just the arc of the last 5 years is remarkable when you think about it.
It's the way, at no point does he panic. I know he talked about his faith a lot in all of his interviews, and just the way he just remains relaxed, even throughout his injuries, throughout the downfalls that he has had. I know over the years I've seen him in a couple of meets, but he always pulls out. So then people started to think like, okay, maybe he's not ready for the pressure anymore. Like, he's not the same Trayvon. But what if it was just more so about he's wanting to step out when he knows that he's absolutely ready, fully healthy, fully committed to do this. And that's exactly what he's been doing this whole entire year. And he's just been proving himself time and time again, honestly.
Kevin, I know you put your house on Noah Lyles winning the 200. I'm ready to put my house that I don't own, that I currently rent, that you're in right now, on Trayvon Bromell winning the 100 in Tokyo.
Yeah. I'll wait until the 200 gets run at these trials. But right now, you're in a better position than I am. Like, I need to.
My money is absolutely on Trayvon.
He's so solid. I mean, his start is so solid. His acceleration looks real smooth. Like, there's never any errors, it looks like, in his race. And it just seems like he's going to be – in Tokyo, he's going to be somewhere between 9.75 and 9.85. And I think that's going to get the job done. Maybe he even dips a little lower in the 9.7s. But he just is nailing that start over and over and over again, and he's making it look routine.
Yeah, and big shout out I want to give to Ronnie Baker, who got second. Ronnie Baker is like the notorious guy who kind of always gets overlooked. When he was doing good things at TCU, there were some other college guys doing even better things and kind of is like the notorious second or third place guy. When he runs well in the 60, there's also Christian Coleman then running fast. When he beats Bromell in a 60 indoors this year, everyone's kind of like, it doesn't matter. Baker has just been a consistent guy. He's been dealing with some injuries, and now he gets that moment of making his first Olympic team. Big ups for Ronnie Baker for finally putting it together at the right moment and running his PB in the U.S. Trials final. That's what you got to do. He runs 985 to get second in this race.
Yeah. Agreed. Ronnie Baker has definitely proved himself this whole season. I guess he could say it was the magic spikes that he had on today. He had like artwork on it.
Yeah, his spikes were getting a lot of airtime there. His spikes and Christina Manning's Doritos earrings, I think, were the fashion
Doritos earrings.
Choices of the meet here. He's auctioning them off for charity. So credit to him for doing that. But yeah, that is a work of art there on his shoes.